Now at 9, Tyson announces the closure of its plant in Knoll, Missouri. We learn how employees are impacted. Plus, authorities in McCune, Kansas arrest a man as part of a homicide investigation.
Former President Donald Trump and the prosecution against him in an election interference case are trading barbs. I'm Mallory Rivera in Washington with that story coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Tanya Bach. Tyson Foods announces it's closing its chicken processing plant in Knoll, Missouri. KOAM's Anthony Saviella joins us in the studio with the story.
Knoll, Missouri is a popular spot for those looking to float on the Elk River or spend some time in nature with their family. However, while business is good in the summer, the key economic factor to many local businesses' success throughout the rest of the year is closing its doors. Monday morning, Tyson Foods announced the closure of 4 facilities, including the plant located in Knoll. According to community members, they have been informed that the plant in Knoll is expected to close on or around October 20th. In a statement by Tyson Foods CEO Donnie King, the decision to close these facilities, quote, demonstrates the commitment to bold action and operational excellence as we drive performance, including lower costs and improving capacity utilization. While Tyson feels as though this decision is best for it as a company, community members in Knoll feel strongly that this decision will bring more hardship than what the community can handle.
What I hate seeing, besides that, is the people that's got 30 plus years in, some of them spent their whole lives over there. Where do you go after you're 30 years in one plant? You know, after that, it's gonna hurt them too, because they got families and stuff that they got to take care of. It's going to hurt.
We also received a statement from McDonald County Chamber of Commerce stating, in part, these are times when pulling together as a community and a county has never been more important. We'll have more on this situation as it develops.
Anthony, thanks. Well, we're getting a little break from the heat this week. Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy joins us with a first look at the weather.
Yeah, it actually turned out to be a pretty good day for us today. Look at our high temp, only 85 degrees. Started at 66, finally below our average high of 91. As of right now, very nice evening. We're sitting out there into the mid to upper 70s, and we're going to continue to slide back as we go through the overnight hours. We are clear, but we're tracking a batch of thunderstorms moving into central Kansas. You can see the overall motion is southeast, but it should clip the region a little bit later on tonight. In fact, let's go through time. You can see those storms kind of sliding into Oklahoma, but a few of them trying to get into our western counties. So this is 2-3 a.m. and even a couple storms all the way north to the I-44 corridor. But again, these are going to be very scattered and fairly light as we go through the overnight. So we're going to start the day with a few random showers. Better chances for thunderstorms tomorrow night. We're going to look at that here in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Doug. A Southeast Kansas man is behind bars accused of the shooting death of his own grandson early this morning at this McCune, Kansas home. Before 1 a.m., a 911 caller contacted the Crawford County Sheriff's Office to say her grandfather had just shot her brother. When deputies arrived at the home on 5th Street in McCune, and they found 28-year-old Ian Fox of Lexington, Kentucky, unresponsive with a gunshot wound. They tried life-saving measures, but they say the victim did not survive.
Yes, that seems to be right now what looks like they were in town visiting, and it just a tragic event that happened, and that it's one of those things that we're an ongoing investigation to try to see if we can figure out the circumstances, what led to this event.
Deputies arrested 70-year-old John Fox of McCune at the scene. He is now at the Crawford County Jail. Sheriff Smith expects Fox to have his first appearance in court tomorrow. PETA is asking Bourbon County officials to investigate a local puppy mill in Uniontown. KOAM's Elise Noe has the story.
Mary Moore is the owner of Mary's Precious Puppies, a business she's had since 1969.
I was the 5th one in the United States to get USDA license.
In May, Moore's kennel received 7 inspection reports from the USDA. The reports detailed the kennel's inaccurate inventory of dogs on the premise and veterinarian care concerns that got the attention of PETA.
It's a particularly severe case of suffering and a disregard for veterinarians and officials' input.
On Monday, PETA sent a letter to the Bourbon County attorney asking them to investigate and persecute more. They say her actions may violate Kansas's anti-cruelty statute.
And when we see a pattern of cruelty to animals that's going unaddressed by the feds, and which we know that they're not reporting to local law enforcement, we try to bring this information to the local police and prosecutors.
Moore says the reports only mention small issues that she says shouldn't have been bothered with.
Well, there was nothing I could do, no matter what I did. I couldn't please the state. They'd be here at 9 o'clock the next morning, and I hadn't got out there yet, and they'd write me up on everything.
In early June, the USDA removed all of her kennel dogs from the premises, though she still owns her own personal dog.
That's what I lived for, was my dogs. And I have no income now. I haven't got any income since they took them.
The Bourbon County Attorney's Office was not able to make a statement on PETA's letter. Reporting in Uniontown, Elise Noe, KOAM News.
At this time, the USDA has not revoked Moore's license, and Moore says she does not know where the dogs now live. We told you last week about Donna Bray, a Joplin resident whose home is on the list to be demolished. She's been fighting to have it removed, and today she went before the city council to advocate directly for that. No action was taken tonight, however, and you can find more about her story on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Another item on the council's agenda today, renaming bridges after officers killed in the line of duty. The bridge on 1200 East 20th Street will now be known as Officer Jake Reed Memorial Bridge. The one on Loop 44 Range Line Road will be renamed Corporal Ben Cooper Memorial Bridge. Reed and Cooper were shot in an incident in March of 2022 and died from their injuries. A third bridge, this one on Connecticut Avenue crossing over I-44, will be renamed the Officer Timothy Nielsen Memorial Bridge. Nielsen died from injuries sustained in a natural gas explosion in 2004. Joplin Council also honored a longtime resident of the city. Betty Smith has lived in Joplin since 1929. She's well known in her community for being a neighbor, a historian, and an outstanding citizen. Today, she was honored through a video for her ongoing service to the community. The Hope Kitchen in Neosho gets a hefty helping hand today. Arvest Bank donated a $5,000 check to the Hope Kitchen Community Ministry. The bank seeks to provide funding to those who are actively working to create a positive change for others. For the staff at Hope Kitchen, the donation helps the ministry with their goals of providing food and caring for the community.
The goal here at Hope Kitchen is to rescue those who are hurting, those who are lonely, those who are confused, those who feel like they're at their lowest point and they just don't know what to do. So they come in here, we try to offer them some hope through a meal.
$5,000 grant will help pay for interior and exterior paint. Webb City resident is celebrating a major milestone today. Martha Wes turned 100 years old. She's originally from South Dakota, but she's moved around a lot before ending up in Missouri. Now she lives at Foxbury Terrace Senior Living, and one of her caretakers says she's still living life to its fullest.
100 years young today, and she's a wonderful lady. She keeps us on our toes. For 100 years old, I mean, she has to have on a full face of makeup every day before she comes out. She gets up every morning, puts her eyebrows on, puts her face powder on, and then she's ready for the day. We don't ever leave the room in our pajamas. So that's Martha.
Haas says Martha spent much of her life working different jobs at schools. Well, coming up, we'll hear from some health experts about how to safely pack your child's lunch for school. About 48 million cases of foodborne illnesses happen every year in the U.S. That's according to estimates from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. And children are among those most vulnerable. As you pack those school lunches, food safety experts urge you to be cautious. Mandy Gaither has what you need to know to help keep your child's lunch safe.
A healthy meal is well balanced with members of all the food groups, but even a good lunch can go bad.
If a lunch is not packed safely, any bacteria in any parts of the lunch will multiply.
Sandra Eskin with the U.S. Department of Agriculture says children are among the most susceptible to serious foodborne illnesses. That's why she says it's critical to pack perishable lunches in an insulated bag with at least 2 cold sources to ensure the food stays under 40 degrees.
Now, those cold sources can be anything from a gel pack to, in fact, a juice box or a water bottle. You can stick the juice box or water bottle in the freezer, then stick them in the lunch.
If you pack the lunch the night before, leave the insulated bag open in the refrigerator to allow the cold to reach the food.
In the morning, that's when you take it out, and then you thoroughly close it so that it stays cold until your child is ready to eat it.
Eskin says it's also critical to prepare food safely. That means washing hands, keeping foods that can cross-contaminate separate, and using a meat thermometer to make sure you're cooking food to safe internal temperatures.
That is the only way that you will know that the item, the meat, the poultry, the egg, the fish, is thoroughly cooked. You cannot tell by looking at it.
Well, school-based program promoting drinking water is showing promise against weight gain. Results from the Water First program conducted in the San Francisco area show a 3.2% drop in the prevalence of overweight students after one school year. Well, Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast. And later, high schools in Missouri can officially begin football practice. John Dales will have that and more in sports.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a nice one for us today. Temperatures were great into the mid 80s and pretty much clear skies all day long for us, and temps now not too bad. Mid 70s, even a couple upper 70s out there, but overall it looks pretty good. We're going to drop back into the mid 60s a little bit later on tonight. Let's go outside. Here's 7th. Here's Rangeline sitting at 76. Winds are pretty much calm, but visibility, you can see nice and far, 10 miles away. All right, not a whole bunch is going on here, but we are tracking this complex of showers and thunderstorms. Look at the general trend, kind of southeast. So we know these are going to drop into northeastern Oklahoma, but they should clip our southern and western counties late tonight into tomorrow morning. Not widespread rain, but at least some scattered showers. High pressure in charge back to our southwest, so we get these weak little waves that rotate through. But what they do for us is keep chances for showers and thunderstorms around as we go through the next couple days. Rain chances tonight, not very high. They stay low tomorrow, and then look how they shoot up tomorrow night into Wednesday morning, which is good. That should be a little bit more widespread. All right, let's go through time. We're going to stop at 2 o'clock in the morning. Some scattered showers, western counties down through northeastern parts of Oklahoma. As we continue through the night, you can see some bands rotating through our southern counties. Maybe as far north as Miami, even Joplin could see a few random showers. Anderson down through Bentonville and also Cassville. So here's 6:30 in the morning. These kind of scoot on by. So by the noon hour, partly sunny skies, we break out and warm into the lower 80s and then near 90 once we get into the afternoon. I think our high temp 90 or 91 degrees. 68 to start, 84 by noon, 90 by 5. Southerly winds are going to be light at about 5 to 10. All right, let's move into tomorrow night. So late tomorrow night, we're going to stop at about 3 o'clock in the morning. Look at the showers and thunderstorms exploding out across southeastern Kansas, northeastern parts of Oklahoma. Some of these guys could be strong, maybe even low-grade severe. Bands of showers and thunderstorms. Here's 5 a.m. on Wednesday morning, and then still scattered showers all the way through the morning hours. So here's 10:30 in the morning. Once we get into the afternoon, a cold front advances in, so additional scattered thunderstorms will try to pop up, mainly along and south of the I-44 corridor. Those also could be strong to severe. So we do have a severe threat. This is not tonight. This is not tomorrow. This is Wednesday, a level 2. out of 5. So if we break this down, 2 time periods, 3 a.m. to 9 a.m., 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. But I'll keep all the threats on the low side at this point in time, but definitely something we want to watch as we go through the next 24 hours. 91 tomorrow, 92 on Wednesday, 92 Thursday. Hot, but not extremely hot. And then those temperatures slowly start to inch upward as we go through the weekend and back into the triple digits once again next week.
I'm digging these temperatures that are barely reaching 90 degrees.
I know,
That's
today
nice.
was great. Fantastic.
It was nice. Let's keep it that way for a little bit.
I'll work on it.
All right, we can do that. All right, thanks, Doug. Well, coming up, what a new poll shows about how many Americans with student loans are financially prepared to repay them. Well, the Biden administration faces another legal challenge in its plans to forgive some student loan debt. 2 conservative groups filed a lawsuit in Michigan to block the administration's plans to cancel $39 billion in student loans for more than 800,000 borrowers. The groups say the administration does not have authority to void the debt. The one-time adjustments would count some non-payment periods as if payments were made. Well, student loan repayments are scheduled to resume in October after a pandemic-era relief program ends, but not everyone is able or ready to start paying the bill. At least 46% of those surveyed in a recent U.S. News poll say they are not financially prepared to resume their student loan repayments. Starting October 1st, the Biden administration's on-ramp relief plan will assist borrowers experiencing difficulty resuming their payments.
The borrowers are going to get a year when, if they're late, they're not going to be reported to credit bureaus. They won't be considered in default. So that kind of gives a little bit of breathing room to a lot of borrowers.
The Biden administration is also rolling out an income-driven repayment plan called Saving on a Valuable Education, or SAVE. It's geared toward low and middle-income people, and it's in response to the Supreme Court ruling at the end of June that blocked the president's plan to forgive up to $20,000 in debt per borrower. Well, it might be hard to believe, but back to school season is heating up, and even though consumers are expected to break records this year, some supplies may be out of reach for shoppers with tight budgets. Fox News' Chris DeMeo takes a look at just how much the average family will shell out.
Excitement is building as back-to-school season ramps up.
I'm ready to get back to school, socialize, learn.
But all the fun is turning into worry for many people's wallets. The National Retail Federation estimates this will be the most expensive school shopping season on record, citing consumers will spend roughly $41.5 billion, up from the nearly $37 billion spent last year.
It's a big challenge for me. I'm a single mother.
The NRF predicts families with kids in elementary school through high school will spend about $900 on average. To help families in need absorb some of the costs, communities around the country have been coming together to host backpack giveaways.
Our goal is to make sure that when kids come to school, they can focus on fun and learning. So we're going to try to give them all the basics they need.
But it's not just parents counting pennies for school supplies. Teachers like Dora Esquivel say that they'll usually spend several $100s on classroom items before school even starts.
We always like to go above and beyond to make sure that the students, when they come in, they feel the most comfortable that they can.
To help educators find discounts, Jennifer Graff started the Teacher and Family Deals Facebook group. The more than 68,000 members share coupon codes and make wish lists where people can buy and donate items they need.
We do a daily deals post every day, and within the comments of that post, we post most of our sales.
Meanwhile, coupon codes and backpack giveaways like these are coming in handy. New data from CNET finds 43% of shoppers plan to take on some type of financing to pay for school supplies. 12% say they'll use a new credit card. Chris DeMeo, Fox News.
Up next, we'll learn how a leaky ceiling and a raccoon gave fans at a soccer game a different show to watch. A rain delay at an AMLS soccer match in Utah turned into quite a spectacle last week. Fans and the media got quite a surprise. Journalists in the press box were startled when a raccoon suddenly fell through a leak in the ceiling. The raccoon quickly escaped and found shelter under an overhang above the main concourse. Stadium staff moved it with a broom. The raccoon fell to the concourse where it was trapped, captured, and then released near the stadium. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. How one of Missouri's largest school districts is experimenting with a 4-day school week. Plus, the Community Health Center of Southeast Kansas hosts an event aimed at making sure health issues do not interfere with a child's learning. As kids head back to school this year, a growing number will be returning to a 4-day school week. Bradley Blackburn explains why some larger school districts are taking this step and what it means for teachers, students, and families.
When the school bell rings in Independence, Missouri this year, 14,000 students are trying something new, a 4-day week with Mondays off.
We're adding 35 minutes onto the day, so the instructional minutes will be almost exactly the same.
Superintendent Dale Hurl and his staff have spent months planning for this calendar change. His district is the largest in the state to move to a 4-day schedule. They'll offer 5th-day childcare to families for $30 a day.
If they weren't using any care, well, certainly that could be a potential cost that they otherwise would not have.
Nearly 900 school districts across 26 states now use a 4-day schedule. That's up from 650 districts in 2020. While smaller rural districts have long favored the schedule, larger districts are now shortening their school week to recruit and retain teachers.
The number of teacher applications that we've received have gone up more than 4-fold.
Right now, there's not good evidence on the academic impacts of the 4-day school week.
Aaron Pallas with Teachers College Columbia University is watching the trend and argues there are better ways to tackle a teacher shortage.
The best way is to pay them better, and Missouri as a state ranks basically last or next to last in the country in terms of teacher salaries.
In Independence, some parents have had concerns.
It's a little bit of a shock.
But Hurl says it's a step they needed to take.
I think this really needs to lead to a bigger discussion nationwide about, what are we going to do to support the teaching profession?
Well, most of the schools that have already moved to a 4-day week are located in the northeast part of the Show Me State. About 25 Kansas districts also have 4-day school weeks. Community Health Center of Southeast Kansas today hosted its annual school-based health conference. It's a chance for school health care professionals to learn techniques that focus on vulnerable populations to ensure all students have the best opportunity to learn.
To get ready for school so they can learn and feel good when they're learning. We've seen that children, and I think, Krista has shown this over the years, but these children had not been vaccinated to go to school. And so when we started asking the questions why, it's just maybe lack of knowledge.
Health Center has more than 100 staff members working in school-based clinics across Southeast Kansas and Northeast Oklahoma. Springfield Library System is using new rules for issuing minors library cards to follow the Missouri's new rules from the Secretary of State's office. Until now, kids could sign up for temporary cards without a parent present. But all of those temp cards have been deactivated, and now parents must come in with their child and sign up for the card in person, or parents must sign a permission slip before a child can receive a card. President Joe Biden is concerned about the increase in ransomware attacks on schools. To discuss the growing issue, the White House says today it is gathering superintendents and education technology experts. They'll look at ways to bolster cybersecurity. Officials say they will also be creating a new council to coordinate between the government and educational institutions. Former President Donald Trump's legal team is not going down without a fight as investigators try to prevent the GOP frontrunner from discussing his most recent legal case on the campaign trail. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera is in Washington with more.
Former President Donald Trump is fired up because the prosecution in his election interference case wants a strict order to prevent the former president from mentioning evidence with the public. On Truth Social, Mr. Trump said a protective order infringes free speech. But it's these types of comments that prompted the Justice Department to file a motion in the first place. They point to this threatening message by Trump, saying it could have a, quote, harmful, chilling effect on witnesses or adversely affect the fair administration of justice.
I just want to be clear that that doesn't seem to be an issue for my client. What seems to be an issue is that Jack Smith isn't liking the discomfort of the attention from what he brought.
Trump's team argues the odds are stacked against the former president. Trump is also calling on the judge, Tanya Chutkan, to recuse her. Chutkan is an Obama appointee.
Clearly, anybody with ethics and sensibility would say, I cannot fairly oversee this case.
His legal team could push for a change in venue as well. They're eyeing West Virginia as an alternative location, citing its, quote, diverse jury.
I think the president's going to face an uphill battle in trying to get this case moved to West Virginia. Yeah. The Constitution says you typically try trials in the jurisdiction where the alleged offense occurred.
There's another deadline in the case this week. Prosecutors have until Thursday to propose a trial date. In Washington, Mallory Rivera, Fox News.
A little bit later, how schools across the country are taking steps to keep students safe heading into the new school year.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a nice one for us today. Mid-80s for afternoon highs. Clear skies, plenty of sunshine all day long. It looks good right now. Nice shot. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo just outside of Seneca, Missouri. All right, nothing going on. We look fine, but we are tracking thunderstorms to our northwest. You can see them dropping off toward the south and to the east. These will affect Wichita, some of our western counties, but mainly skirt into northeastern Oklahoma and also northwest Arkansas. So about 30% of us will pick up some showers late tonight into the morning hours. But we have this wave rotating through, another one right behind it, which will give us pretty good chances for rain by the time we head into tomorrow night and also on Wednesday. So you can see here's 5 a.m. Wednesday morning, those chances increasing across the region. All right, let's go ahead and break it down. Quiet the next several hours. We'll stop at 2 a.m. Some scattered light showers, western counties down through northeastern parts of Oklahoma. As we continue through the overnight, here's 4 a.m. A few showers trying to get as far north as Joplin, but most of the rain stays into northeast Oklahoma, also northwest Arkansas. 6:30 in the morning, Bartlesville, Coffeyville, Veneta, down to Grand Lake, some scattered showers. Then these scoot to the south of us. We start to clear out by the time we get to the noon hour. Once we get into the afternoon, upper 80s to about 90 for afternoon highs. Here's your day planner. Starting at 68, 84 by noon, 90 by 5 p.m., southerly winds light. Of course, we're going to start the day with clouds and then sunshine as we get into the afternoon. Tomorrow night, much better chances for widespread rain. Look at this, 3:30 in the morning, scattered showers, thunderstorms, Kansas, Oklahoma, working into southwest Missouri. The ones that do develop could be strong, maybe low grade, severe. Scattered thunderstorms continue. Here's 5 a.m. on Wednesday morning. We'll go to 7 a.m., heaviest pushing off toward the east. Still some scattered showers around even 10 or 11 o'clock, and then I think we'll break out, see partly sunny skies. But during the afternoon on Wednesday, along the I-44 corridor and south, some scattered thunderstorms, and some of those could be strong to severe. We actually have a severe threat, a level 2 out of 5, as we go into Wednesday. So this is not tonight, this is not tomorrow, this is Wednesday. Level 2 out of 5. Main threats here are going to be heavy rains and gusty winds. 2 chances for severe weather on that day, 3 a.m. to 9 a.m., 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Rainfall amounts, we'll have to see where those heavier bands set up, but I think a good chunk of us could pick up quarter, half an inch, maybe even upwards to an inch in spots, which would definitely be something we could use. All right, 91 tomorrow, 92 on Wednesday, 92 on Thursday. A few pop-up storms Friday. Saturday looks good. Sunday and Monday, a few storms, but temperatures slowly inching up the scale as we go through the week.
Kind of hoping if we, the temperatures are as low as they are today, tomorrow, that we could dip down below the 70s every night.
I know, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah. 75 is like, that's muggy
80.
at night.
Yeah.
We need to cool down.
I know.
All right, thanks, Doug. Well, coming up in sports, Pittsburgh State football announces its 2023 team captains. Plus, we visit Webb City on the first day of Missouri high school football practices. John Dales has those stories and more after the break.
Today is day number 1 for high school football practices in the state of Missouri. And with just under 3 weeks to go until opening weekend, athletes from across the Show Me State lace up their cleats, strap on the shoulder pads for the first time in a long time. We'll meet several of the schools from the 4 states over the next.
Especially this time of year, you know, with all the previews and all the information coming out on the teams, you can get really wrapped up in talking about all your opponents and the players they have coming back. And so we've really tried to just take the approach that, you know, we're in control, we can control, and that's coming out and working hard every day, becoming a disciplined football team, controlling the things we can control, and really learning what your role is on the team and why that's your role.
Offensive line's looking a lot better than it was for previous years. A lot of guys stepping up in big roles for us. You know, a lot of guys getting bigger as well and getting stronger, getting faster.
Meanwhile, today, also first day of practices for both the MIAA schools in the area. Missouri Southern begins 2023 looking for an improvement on last year's 4-7 campaign. And going into year 3, Lions head coach Atiba Bradley says these days in early August, they're about more than just making sure the starters are ready for the season.
For our 1s, sharpening up, and then our 2s and 3s, developing quality depth. You know, this is a league that requires you to be able to have good 2s and 3s if you want to be successful. You know, you blink and it's here, but we're just taking it day by day. We got, 24 days until that day comes, but that's 24 days of work. You know, we can get a lot better in that time, and we will.
So I got some good experience last year in those last 3 games, and I feel good about the offense. I mean, we've got a lot of guys returning, and I think it's going to be a good year for us for sure. Well, we had spring ball, and that went pretty well for the offense. I mean, we felt good about that, and then over the summer we're doing a lot of workouts. We had player-led practices like twice a week.
Meanwhile, Pitt State also in action this morning. Gorillas begin their 2023 MIAA title defense at home on Thursday, August 31st against Washburn. For head coach Brian Wright, entering his 4th season at the helm of the Gorillas program, the task at hand isn't finding players good enough to repeat. It's making sure they can all stay on the same page.
I think our big thing is coming together and playing together as one unit. And we have a lot of individually talented guys, and we've talked about that, and we got a lot of ability, but there's a lot of other things that we got to continue to focus on that have nothing to do with talent and nothing to do with ability. And I would say the first thing is just coming together and as an offense, as a defense, and special teams, and then collectively as a football team.
And at this afternoon's practice, the Gorillas also announced their team captains for 2023. Led by the 4 seniors on the top of your screen, along with 3 juniors. Quarterback Chad Dodson, one of those non-seniors that gets the nod as a captain. Trace Jeffries, the only returning captain from last season, whereas this is a first for the other 6 names on your screen. That does it for sports. We're back with more news after this.
Security, weather preps, and mental health top the agenda when it comes to school safety as more kids return to the classroom. Fox's Eben Brown has more from Miami.
Summer isn't over yet, but school is already underway in some areas, and others are gearing up to start in the coming days. And of course, that means an extra focus on safety, with districts across the country pulling out all the stops to protect students, faculty, and staff. At the top of the agenda is preventing violent attacks. There were 51 school shootings in 2022, the most in a single year, and this fall more than 52,000 armed guards will be deployed in schools, backed by some 15,000 law enforcement officers, a significant increase from last year.
We're all here to help, and we want to make sure that we're present. We'll have officers at schools around the area. We want everyone to feel safe.
Another big concern is keeping kids safe from natural disasters. Here in Florida, some schools are still recovering from the damage done by Hurricane Ian last fall, and the state has made millions of dollars available to help upgrade facilities.
Hurricane season is upon us, and while we hope and pray we do not experience any major storms this year, we need to remain vigilant and prepared.
But doctors are also warning that too much emphasis on safety could backfire and lead to stress and anxiety among students.
You got to be careful. You don't want to create anxiety and fear of your child, but you want to balance that with their safety and their security.
Well, coming up, we've got the sneak peek at the shows you'll want to check out this week on Fox. There's a big celebration on MasterChef while special guests join a couple of competition series this week. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin with a look at what's coming up on Fox TV.
Monday starts with Stars on Mars, where 8 stars remain, and this week they find they are not alone on the red planet.
Someone or something is in there with you.
The HAB's radar system detects an unfamiliar signal, and the crew has to act fast. They'll work to earn another mission patch and to stay mission critical to stay on the show.
Oh, look, it's Dwight Howard.
Then it's the semifinals on Crime Scene Kitchen with guest judge Dwight Howard. The 4 teams left take on the safety bake round in the final elimination bake of the season, hoping to get a spot in the grand finale.
It's Divas!
Tuesday is Take on the Tunes night, starting with Beat Shazam.
Wake me up before you go.
Then contestants test their musical memory on Don't Forget the Lyrics.
I present to you the United Cakes of America.
Wednesday, it's a milestone MasterChef with the show's 250th episode celebration. And in the competition, home chefs are assigned to recreate iconic cakes.
Final four.
Then it's Gordon Ramsay's Food Stars, and Wayne Newton joins as a guest judge with the 4 semifinalists in Las Vegas and a culinary circus challenge. The entrepreneurs have to fuse high-end cuisine with first-class entertainment and choose a dish from Gordon's Hell's Kitchen restaurant to showcase in their performance. Fox Sports brings 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup Thursday and rounds out the week with matchups in the ring on WWE Friday Night SmackDown.
Here we go!
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We leave you with video of 2 zebras at the Whipsnade Zoo in England. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.